Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your identity?
Hello, my name is Newton Pittman.
And thank you very much for coming to the show. I mean, how's the weather where you're at?
It's really hot. It's probably about 104 degrees right now in Dallas, Texas. I live right by the lake and it is steaming out. It's very oppressive.
Well, I actually feel your pain. I live in Viva Las Vegas, and it's always hot here.
Year round, year round.
Yes, well, even our winters aren't that bad. I think the worst it gets in winter is maybe 30 degrees, and that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I mean, we saw snow like once every like 10 years, so.
See, we still get ice, but there's that like 9 months of just pure heat over 100 degrees. It's just really bad.
I actually heard you guys had a pretty big like snowstorm. It was a few months back.
Yeah, we did. We did actually. Me and my wife were stuck in the living room on the couch for about 5 days and really got to know each other. And I think pretty much after 5 days, we were just like, okay, are you going back to work or what?
You didn't have Monopoly or anything like that?
Well, we just bought a big screen TV and she's just so not interested in watching Phantom Requiem. And I was, because it just came out. And so, yeah, it was hard.
Well, so you get a chance to actually go back and watch the work you're in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Funimation gives me, Mike McFarlane gives me Blu-rays. Tyler gives me Blu-rays when he gets them, but they filter them out whenever they get them, so I get to watch it then.
And do you ever get to watch it and you think to yourself, maybe I should have done that better, or do the perfectionist thing at all?
I'm an actor, absolutely. That's exactly what I do all the time. Phantom was probably one of the most difficult because I was very new. I'm only 2 years into this game. I was a musician for about 8 years up in New York, and about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I moved back to Dallas, and I got introduced to Funimation by Ian Sinclair, who was working on Black Butler. He was one of the main guys in Bamboo Blade. Anyway, he's one of my buddies, and we were hanging out one day, and Joel McDonald came over to his house, and we were just talking, chatting and everything, and Joel's like, you need to come up to the studio. So he came up. I think it may have been not Initial D, I think Joel called me in on, was my first thing I did. It could be that or Sergeant Frog. I don't quite remember, but yeah, so I came up to the studio and got into a little box. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. Still quite don't know what I'm doing, but trying. But yeah.
I always hear that musicians have such an easier time with the three beeps with the rhythm of matching the lip flaps. Do you think that's true?
I do. There might be a few directors that might disagree with you that work with me, but I do.
They give you a hard time, it sounds like.
Well, no, it's not that so much as one of the good things about being new to this business is Tyler Walker, who is pretty much my saving grace. He's the one that's cast me in most of my leads. He's such a great director, and he pretty much brought me in and kind of disabled any kind of bad habits that I would possibly have that he has with other actors, I think, and kind of being new to it and very susceptible and very desperate. I just kind of followed Tyler, and he, I don't know, I guess that first scene in Phantom, episode 1, I think it took us 4 days. That was the first thing I've ever done. And it is a little bit easier as a musician, but at the same time, you're going after reactions. And so I was telling Tyler, I was like, will you let me sit and watch like Jeremy or Todd Haberkorn just so I can see how it does? I'm better at mimicking. So.
And I think that would help a lot too. I hear Todd's really good like he works really quickly in the booth. So I assume you got to sit down and watch a few people do their work?
Yeah, well, the thing about Todd is I kind of feel like he's my only competition, not voice wise, but looking wise. We're the only two Asian looking dudes in Dallas, pretty much. So
Well, I
we've got
can.
that thing going for us. But actually, I'm working with him on Fairy Tale. And one thing that's great about Todd is he has the high pitch voice for Natsu, and I've got the low pitch voice for Gray. So it's a wonderful combination, and yeah, he's so talented. I respect him to the fullest.
Well, it seems like you just fit in at Funimation like a glove.
Kinda.
Just a little bit, just not quite. Still, they still make fun of me.
Yeah, they totally make fun of me. I'm the weird guy with the tattoos and the long hair that walks in, but there's plenty of those there too.
But doesn't that mean it's a good atmosphere? I mean, for example, on our staff, we say the meanest things to each other, but we love each other. Not really. So I assume it's kind of the same.
Yeah, they're really great. They have pretty much been like consistent work for me for like, 2 years. And I got up there and the first person that called me in, like I said, was Joel McDonald. And after that, it just kept spiraling and, McFarlane called me in and I realized how important Full Metal Alchemist was to all the fans and stuff. And, up at Funimation, it's great because you work on the shows that you're working on, you're starring in, or just doing whatever for. But if you finish early, they call around the rest of the place and like, does anybody need him? We're done 45 minutes early, and that's how I got on Full Metal, and which was great. Zach Bolton, all these guys, they're wonderful. Colleen, obviously. Yeah, they've been a great company to me. They've really treated me very well, and I'm totally new. I'm no like 9-year, like all these people have been there for like 10 years. I met Bruce Elliott the other day. Just great people, and they've totally embraced me. So.
And now I'm sort of curious, you mentioned the fans. Have you gotten a chance to see their reaction, either on the internet or at a convention yet?
Yeah, I went to Acon here in Dallas, and I got to meet a couple of people. Like I said, I'm still new to the group, but there's some great people out there, some great fans. I've gotten handwritten letters. I've gotten typed letters. I've got with stationery, teachers. Jack Cox is awesome. He's up in Toronto. Chris LeBlanc in Denton. Just these great people, and they write me these letters, and I'm just, I'm going to do a job. I'm just going to work, and they write me these letters like saying that, they're so inspired by the work that I'm doing, and they really love it. I personally understand because I love animation, but yeah, it's kind of breathtaking sometimes. It gives me a lot of gratitude.
Well, I think with anime, the fans aren't just, 10-year-olds. Now they're people who are in their 20s or 30s or 40s. It's a genre that has somehow been able to grasp a mature mind.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it interesting.
Yeah, that's there was a teacher, Patricia Jackson from, I think, York, Pennsylvania, wrote me a letter on her school teacher letterhead, just like talking to me about, how she usually watches. Anime used to be a thing for her, and now she just kind of catches it on Netflix, and she was watching Phantom and she normally says she can multitask grading papers and watch anime just as an old hobby. And she said whenever she heard my voice, she like couldn't multitask anymore. But the only reason that I like that is because she was like, I thought Rob McCollum used to be the best voice actor ever, and then I heard your voice. And I love Rob to death, I really do, but I will jab him with that.
Number one, you should totally get a foam finger going to go into Funimation one day, or whenever you see him next. I'm number one.
Exactly. I'm gonna totally do that.
It's like, there, I got proof.
I just want to do that to Rob, just because he's on Good Morning Dallas. No, he's a sweet guy. He's really good too. He's one of the he's one of the guys that got me into it, as well as Ian Sinclair and Joel McDonald. They're the ones that started me out. They pretty much went up there and just said, this guy needs to be here. So they always backed me up, and yeah, I love it.
Well, since you mentioned Requiem quite a bit, could you explain a little bit about the story or your character?
Yeah, it's basically, I'm an assassin. That every time I watch that, it's just, I mean, Tyler is so incredible. He's just such an incredible director, and we worked really hard on it. He took a chance with me, which he did not have to. He basically put me in the, he just put me in the driver's seat and said go. And Requiem, basically, I'm pretty much a Japanese tourist, but wake up very discombobulated in a strange place, and all of a sudden I'm in assassin training, and I have to start killing people, but it's against my conscience. Like, do I feel bad about it? Do I feel good about it? Do I feel anything? And eventually my character goes through this, basically, an arc of starting to care about his feelings and knowing what he's doing is not necessarily right, but at the same time is loving the gloriousness of what he's doing and the payoff of it. But at the same time having a conscience and not feeling great about it. So, it follows a lot along the storyline of The Professional, which is one of my favorite movies, and that's why I love doing it. But, yeah, high-paid assassin, and part of, and Kent Williams Kent is one of my very good friends. He is wonderful, but he got to own that show. It was just a great show. It was very noir. It was dark. And before that, I had only done, Initial D and Sergeant Frog, so I hadn't quite seen that side of anime yet.
Well, that seems like a fun character to do just because you're portraying so many emotions.
Yeah.
And do you find that difficult at all, to be maybe angry or cry one moment and then happy the next, or is it something that's natural for you?
It's very natural for me because, I'm just a corrupted, emotional actor, like most of us are. But we did a scene, I think we were in the 25th episode, and Tyler's going to hate me for saying this, more so his wife, Heather, is probably going to be pissed, but we after we got done with one of the big death scenes, the only time he walked outside with me, and like it was very emotional. Like we both were just like tied up, and I can't remember her name, but she died. We go outside, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, Tyler, you want a cigarette? And he's like, give me one. And so we sit there both outside just smoking a cigarette at Funimation and Flower Mound, and you could tell he's just spent, I'm spent. I got him a bottle of wine. It was called Phantom Wine. It was our that day. Like, yeah, we smoked a cigarette together. It gets very emotional. I mean, it's hardcore stuff that you're doing, and you gotta be there. So.
And I think that's nice for the fans to hear too, because I think a lot of people don't realize how invested you guys get into the characters.
Yeah. I mean, it's You have to. If you want to make it believable, you've got to deliver. So.
Definitely. And I think with that, we're going to take a short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but don't go anywhere because my special guest isn't, unless I chase him away, which would be bad. So make sure to keep it tuned to your favorite station where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.
Hi, I'm the Celtic Guardian, but you guys can call me Dave. When I'm not busy being sacrificed in order to summon monsters that are halfway useful, I like to listen to 918 The Fan, one of the hottest online radio shows on the worldwide internet highway. Thing. Did I mention I have like 1,400 attack points? That's a big deal in my world, you know. Plus, I have a sword. Does the Blue Eyes White Dragon have a sword? No. Fuck the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Seriously.
Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and I'm pretty sure I still have my special guest here. Would you like to let him know you're alive?
I am alive.
Always a good thing. Always sucks when the guests come back as zombies, then they start eating our equipment. I've had experience with this. It happens all the time. We were kind of talking a little bit behind the scenes about any projects that have recently come out that you would like to pimp out to the fans.
We did Hero Tales, which was pretty recently. We were talking on the break, which Tyler Walker directed. And that was a very difficult show for me. It probably lasted, I can't even remember. A lot of contracts for that one. But that's the one that probably dropped my voice down a couple registers. Tyler made me yell every single day. Just screaming, attacking, doing the charges, blasting, everything. He definitely promised me in Fairy Tale, if I did come back to his studio, that he wouldn't abuse my voice that much. I'm not quite sure that he wasn't lying about that.
Well, at the same time, do you have any things that help you, like magic remedies that help your throat at all, like cough drops or anything like that?
It's called codeine, and I think it's scheduled.
Well, that's one way to do it.
No, I do cough drops. One of the best things about Funimation, and I will say this honestly, they have about 50 assorted teas at all times. They have the hot water ready to go. Tyler always likes to use his coffee. He gets charged by that, which I'm thankful for because that keeps him from yawning. If Tyler starts yawning, then I start yawning, then the sound guy starts yawning, and then we're all yawning. So, but they give me, they have a wonderful assortment of teas and Diet Dr. Pepper. Wait, can I say Dr. Pepper on this?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I had Subway for lunch. No, I didn't, but it's okay. Endorsement.
Well, I have contractual obligations because of my other voiceover work. But yeah, mostly I think caffeine and hot tea, water, and, sometimes a little Claritin D just to wake you up. I don't know, get the allergies going. It's Texas. We got all these, Texas oaks down here, so it really messes with your voice. But, yeah, I would say caffeine. Most voice actors won't say that, but that's what I love.
I mean, with reaction sounds, I know you're putting a big strain on your voice, but usually those are at the end of the week, right? So you can rest a little?
No.
Apparently not. Not in your world.
Have you seen any of Tyler's shows? No. No, that's the first thing that he taught me. And it's a learning process too. One of the biggest things is he taught me how to scream efficiently. And there are days when, we have to do the really harsh stuff, and we'll save it till the very end. Probably the last 30 minutes, we'll do the harsh stuff. He's usually pretty good about it. But there's a way to scream, and there's like a wrong way to scream. And, as an actor, you want to be there. You want to be in the moment. You want to capture everything that's happening. You want to please your director. And when doing that, you'll scream wrong. But, he's really good at directing you into okay, you're tearing up your voice. Let's try to save it. We still have this much time to go, blah, blah, blah. So.
Understandable. And now, one thing I was curious about, is there any place on the interwebs where, the fans can stalk you and see if you have any projects coming up?
Yeah, well, obviously my Facebook, I accept any requests pretty much. And that's pretty much New Pittman at Facebook. I have a Reverb Nation. I actually, in my spare time, sing Johnny Cash songs. They're not Johnny Cash. They're ones that I wrote, but they're pretty much, whiskey fueled, so they're pretty good too. That's Reverb Nation / New Pittman. Also, I think someone set up a page for me on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Well, I definitely know you have a Wikipedia page. I have that one open.
Yeah.
And is there any conventions that you have coming up where the fans can actually tackle you without inflicting bodily harm?
Yeah, gonna try. I've been trying to text Ian Sinclair all day. We're gonna try to crash Anime Fest if we can get some passes. Michael Tatum asked me if I was going to crash it, and I always love going and stalking him because he's so wonderful. But we're going to try to do that this weekend, and then I am going to be at Comic-Con in New York for Fairy Tale. And that's with Todd Habercorn, Jeremy, and Colleen. Which is, I think, October 15th to the 17th, somewhere around there. I heard Frank Miller's going to be there. I'm going to totally dork out.
Well, good to know you're a geek just like us. And now, one thing I did want to ask you about, because the fans will probably have my head if I didn't. You're in this little show called Eden of East, and you play this very interesting character. Could you tell us about him?
Panties.
Yes.
I went into the audition, and that's the first time I actually met Mike. I was in there, and he was just like, and I'm about 6 foot tall. I weigh 170 pounds. He's like, I need you to be somewhat bigger, take up more atmosphere. I need you to take up space. So however you can do that. And he directed me so well. I mean, he just like gave me pretty much 9 times out of 10 when you go into an audition, the director will give you about maybe 20%, and you got to come up with the rest. And he gave me probably 70, which means I only had to come up with about 30%. He's like, this is what I want. And I was like, all right, here we go. So I auditioned for the show and got a call back, and he was like, we want you as Panties. We think you can, do it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it was pretty much the first character that I ever did out of myself. Most people cast me. You get typecast quite often, and you always stay in your register. You always stay pretty much where you're at, and that was the first character that I ever got that gave me a little room to play, and that let me just kind of have fun with it. He's such a great director, and he. Do you know what bombs are?
Yes.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know what bombs were until that show, and Lydia Mackey bombed me on it pretty hard, and she used some explicit terms, which I can't use on this show, but they were hilarious, and it just kind of drove me. Everyone just kind of like, one of the things about the way he sets up his shows is it's just a good time. It's fun. It's let's have a good time. Let's joke around. I'm sure, Full Metal was way more serious about that, but he's just such a great director, and he just really lets you explore your character. And, when you go too far, you take it to 11. He brings you back down to 9, and then lets you go a little bit more. But it was a fun character. The storyline, I thought, was really great. Yeah, it was a great show to work on. I had a great time doing it.
Well, I hope, as you roam around the offices, they're not calling you Panties, is all I can say.
No, they are. They are. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Now we know what to name your fan club now.
No, seriously. Panties.com.
It's the new fan club.
No, I saw that on y'all's website today, and he was like, "Oh, and panties will be interviewed." I'm like, "Oh dear, is that what I'm known for?"
I don't write those. You can totally blame my producer, Christmas, on that one. That is all him. But I will say, since, we're nearing the end of this interview, is there anything you'd like to tell the fans out there?
Just a huge thanks. I'm so new at this, and I feel like such a noob at it. I just came into it a couple years ago, and I've just been really embraced by Funimation, a great company. Just, I couldn't ask for more. The fans are great. I didn't really even know about this culture until a few years ago, and they've completely embraced me, and I've had some wonderful fans, sending me letters and emails and all kinds of stuff, and just a big thanks,
Awesome. And I'm sure the fans love to hear that as well. I'm also curious if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition. No bodily harm will happen.
Absolutely.
To you. Basically, we ask if you'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
Absolutely.
Cool. The only trick is that we do the takes live on air, so if you happen to mess up, everybody hears it.
Perfect.
He's so happy about it, you can tell.
Thank you so much.
Well, we do this to everybody, so there have been about 250 people before you who've messed up and done it. So,
as long as I do it better than Rob McCollum, then I'm fine.
Basically, we ask if you'd be willing to say, "Hello, my name is," you insert your name, "I do this," you can insert characters, or that you're a voice actor, whatever you want to put there, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
I think I can do that.
All right, so whenever you're ready, we can do take one.
Hello, my name is Newton Pittman. I am a voice actor, and you are tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
See, that wasn't hard at all. You didn't even need a second take.
Oh, I can do 5 takes if you want.
Well, maybe behind the scenes, maybe. But for everybody out there, thank you for joining us, and thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And if you missed any of this interview, listeners, shame on you, but you'll find it on the website within the next few days, so keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan, everything you want and nothing you don't.